Thank you and welcome to the show for today. The topic today is the 21st Annual Afro-American History Conference and Culture and History Conference, which is to be held in Nashville, Tennessee very, very soon. And of course we have with us to talk about this 21st Annual Conference the founder of the conference, Dr. BLovett. And of course, Dr. Lovett, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney.
Dr. Lovett, you know, we might not have included all of the information in reference to this conference, but what we want to try to do today is to recognize that for the last 21 years, you and others have gathered together for an annual culture and history conference. And what we want to talk about today is about that conference and over the many years, some of the things that have happened and some of the more recent events in reference to that conference. But before we get into that, Dr. Lovett, let's talk about the founder of this conference, Dr. BLovett. I know personally that you've been with us on many, many occasions, and I would imagine that almost every person in Nashville and the surrounding areas is aware of your background. But those who might not know, let's give you an opportunity to talk about who you are, your background, your education, and then to say something about that conference, and then we'll get into some of the other issues today.
Well, I am Professor of History at Tennessee State University. I have chaired the annual conference on local and state African American culture and history since 1980 when we started it. So this is our 21st conference. Some of the original founders like Dr. Revis Mitchell, Linda T. Wynn, Lois C. McDougall are still around. Ebeline Maybelline is another one of the original founders. And we started the conference in 1980, September, to service this community so that they would have an opportunity to present some of the history that they were doing in the community. And so since 1980, we have presented many papers. We publish profiles of local events and personalities every year. We have compiled those into a book called Profiles of Tennesseans, Afro-Americans in Tennessee. And that is available free on the website, TSU, www.tennstate.edu, and go to the library and they can download that whole book so that people can have access to African American history in Nashville absolutely free. We don't charge anything. We do charge a little fee for the conference, and this year is $12. It will be at the downtown new public library on Church Street this time. Free parking, but we will have to limit it to 230 persons. And therefore, you must pre-register this year, whereas in past years, we accepted about a couple of hundred people more at the door. We will not be able to do that this year.
And you've always had a very, very good turnout for this conference. Speak to that issue about how it has grown.
Well, the conference started off at the Tennessee State University downtown campus in September 1980, and we probably had about 90 to 100 people at the first conference. Over the years, it's grown to about 500 to 600 people may attend in some of the good years at the conference. And it has been constantly co-sponsored by Tennessee State University and the Metropolitan Historical Commission.
And there's also other groups that have been involved with this conference over the years.
Oh yes, we have many churches and organizations that donate money and services. For example, First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill, has been with us since 1980. The Spruce Street Baptist Church has been with us since 1980. First Baptist Church of East Nashville, 15th Avenue Baptist Church, Jefferson Street Baptist Church, the Frierson Foundation, Citizens Bank, National Baptist Publishing Board, the AME Sunday School Union. Many organizations and people have supported us through the years so that we could keep the registration fee very cheap. It cost us about $20, $25 per person to put on this conference because we offer free lunch. But we have charged people about a third of what it cost because so many people in the community give us cash contributions.
And so it does seem as if you've got a widespread community support for this particular conference. But now, tell me, why is this great interest in the African American experience? Because it does appear that there is some interest in the ability to be able to sustain such a conference.
Right. Well, 20 years ago or 21 years ago, there was not very much interest, and that's one of the reasons we started the conference. So that, like in the olden days when Carter G. Woodson started Negro History Week in 1926, and then he changed it to Negro History Month, and then finally it was Black History Month, and now it's called African American History Month. But we were not celebrating that month in 1980 the way we used to. And so the purpose of this conference was also to spur more interest in the community, and we have done that. Television stations like yours, Channel 17, all the other television stations, radio, newspapers, schools, even the federal agencies all do something now in Nashville on African American History Month. We want people to know that the African American too made a contribution in every aspect of American society, whether it be in technology, whether it be in science, or whether it be in social science or the humanities or the art or in history. He too has made a contribution, and that's our purpose. And our purpose is to get accurate, factual information out to people, and so they will appreciate and understand African American history as well as I do.
And of course, and you do understand it well, Dr. Lovett, because I think you have produced a book dealing with this. Why don't you say something about that book?
Well, my most recent book is the African American history of Nashville, Tennessee, from 1780 to 1930, published by the University of Arkansas Press. It is available at all the bookstores, and if it is not, simply ask them to order you a copy. But at Akibalon on Jefferson and 28th usually has copies, Elder's Bookstore and many of the other bookstores. But it is a comprehensive study of African Americans in Nashville that took me 15 years to research and write. And, but it goes up until 1930. I'm writing 2 other books now, and so one of the books I'm writing is on the whole of Tennessee and African American history in Tennessee, and I'm writing a book on the history of Tennessee State University.
And of course, Dr. Lovett, we're going to have to take a commercial break here within the next few minutes here. I'm not exactly sure how much time it didn't show yet, but what we want to try to do, perhaps if we've got enough time even in this segment, and certainly at the beginning of the next segment, is to have you to pull out some information in reference to your study of the African American experience in the state of Tennessee, and perhaps to give us some of the information that you've not yet published in your book dealing with African Americans in the state of Tennessee, as well as African Americans in Tennessee State University, because we know that you've spent quite a bit of time. You might not have spent as much time on these 2 as you spent the 16 years that you spent on the other, but we know that you're working on it, and that certainly there are many pieces of very, very good information that you can share with us. But let's talk about your book in terms of how you see that book as being of some use to the whole conference effort and the whole effort to disseminate information about the African American
Well, the first book that I finished, of course, 1999, The African American History of Nashville, was to try to bring together the whole story from the very beginning of settlement, which is 1780, and bring that up into 1930, the Great Depression years, to see how African Americans had impacted the history of Nashville and vice versa. So it's a very detailed study, and it's sort of designed so people can also use it as a reference when they need to know something specific about the African American history of Nashville.
And so, Dr. Lovett, we're getting ready to take our first commercial break here within the next half minute here, and somehow we've been disconnected with the time matter here, and so because of that. But we've got about 30 seconds, and then we're going to roll down, and we'll come back into that second segment for today, and we'll give you an opportunity not only to talk about your book, but an opportunity to perhaps deal with some of those areas that you believe that people should know dealing with the African American experience. We'll be back with our audience following